Why did you join Twitter in the first place?
I am a fan of technology, information technology. So I've been a close beneficiary of the developments in IT. So when Twitter came along, I seized the chance because it was obvious that it was giving one the opportunity to communicate in a very unusual way, because it's quick, and because of the limited characters you use, 140 words, you are forced to make your points in a concise and precise manner, and the response the same. I also found that I could pass on information much faster to a wider audience than, for instance, the traditional way of addressing the press conference. And I sometimes say I am bigger than, say, our leading newspaper, because if I have, say, 30,000 followers and only 10,000 of them retweet my message, and each one has 1,000 followers, do you see? You immediately reach millions of people.
So do you run your own account?
Yes, I do.
So somebody would wonder, for somebody with your schedule and your responsibilities, where do you actually get the time to run your own account?
Yeah, well, it's a punishing schedule because I do it outside meetings, and I do a lot of meetings. I work for many hours, so that's why if you followed me, you would realize. Do you see when I post my tweets? Yes. A bit late. Yeah, most of the time. So, yeah, that's the only time I have, so I use that time.
So do you think that the messages that you put on Twitter, people take them as seriously as if you, for instance, gave a public message through the public broadcaster or went for a talk show?
I think the difference with Twitter is that those who follow you take special interest in the conversation you have. They know about you, they want information out of you. I can post information. We do. Incidentally, we have official hashtag, okay, which posts statements I make. So I never post statements on this particular one because there's another channel which does it. But this is a direct conversation between me and the individuals involved, and where we feel we want to communicate outside the public domain, then of course you have the facility of direct message. Yes, so I find it very useful.
Do you think as Uganda's Prime Minister, this avenue, Twitter, social media in general, helps you put out a message that would probably have been lost in the mainstream media?
Well, you see, the most important thing is it brings out things that are in people's minds, because they know they are talking to the Prime Minister of Uganda. They ask questions. I can give you an example. We had a long exchange about the state of our healthcare units, and I got a lot of information about what was happening in health centers out in the rural areas. One hospital we had to close because it didn't have water, and I got it from Twitter. So I get the feedback immediately.
Everybody says social media is where young people are. Most Ugandans are young people. So do you feel closer to the people you're trying to serve and therefore passing on these messages faster?
Precisely, because most of the people that I communicate with are young. They, I think, benefit from the information that I have, which of course is a lot of information about government, about governance, all sorts of issues. I've been around for some time, as you know. But I also benefit from what they tell me as young people, because I clearly see that there is new thinking. Many times I get angles about how to solve problems that I had not thought of, that we have not thought of as a government in the long time we've been in government. And these are new ideas from the young generation. Twitter offers me this opportunity.
As Prime Minister, it also means you're in charge of other ministers and other ministries and other government departments. How come they haven't followed suit. They don't seem to be as interested in new media and social media as you are.
Well, I think they are coming along. I can tell you that we have decided that to improve the efficacy of the executive office, relying more and more on IT, information technology. I can tell you, for instance, that in the cabinet, we no longer have volumes of documents that will be presented in files. We have PowerPoint presentations. They send them to you electronically. You read them in advance. In Parliament, as you know, we use the iPad. Again, electronically, we get a lot of information. You are able to read it anytime, any time of day. When I'm moving between places, I'm able to access my computer and read documents. I think it's changing our lives positively.
New media and social media being open to all opinions can also mean that some opinions that you might not like will come through. How do you deal with those? Have you had any of your followers annoy you, for instance?
Yes, of course. I have some who are extremely encouraged, but someone like me who has been around, I'm used to that. I manage. In
your time on Twitter, what conversation have you had with the people that follow you and the people that you follow that you think has had the most impact?
You know, we had an outbreak of a disease here. First we had Ebola, then the other one was what? Marburg. You know, we go to the Ministry of Health on Twitter and Facebook, and they were giving updates of the interventions that were happening in the areas affected. It was amazing the effect it had because, there was fear in the minds of people that was spreading out. But once they followed what was happening, the effective steps government was taking to contain it, I think it helped a great deal.